Another month of community. It's March. We're celebrating the Ladies' Feet.
That's right. We've got a full show for you, so stick around.
I'm Claudine Ewing.
And I'm Pete Gallivan, and we are at Just Buffalo Literary Center.
And here you will find books about women, but joining us is the new Poet Laureate for the City of Buffalo. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
She is Itina Farid Cook. I'm
Yes.
just giving you all this little, even more.
Yes, yes, and I love it.
She even rolled the R on
She
that.
did,
Did that?
and I like that. I think everybody should start saying it like that. I like it.
Yeah. What does it feel like to be the new Poet Laureate for Buffalo?
I feel honored to have the opportunity to utilize the skill set of literary arts to be able to expand perspectives.
And to be a woman doing this.
Yeah, to be a woman, you know, there's a lot I can say. You know, there's a lot of fierceness in me, confidence and things like that, different experiences that I've had that I'm going to incorporate into this process. I feel, you know, like I said, honored, especially as a woman in this month to take on this role.
You are so impressive, because when we used to say at the Art of Talking Good, that's, you know, we didn't have the same skill set, but to be named it along with another great woman as the new city historian, who we'll hear from a little bit later in the show. How special was that during Women's History Month to have two very strong women up on that stage with the mayor?
I think, I know for me, it means a lot, especially being that we're both very educated and definitely like different, but yet we have this huge energy within us to utilize our skill sets to get the job done.
Yeah,
So
for the better of Buffalo.
Yes, yes indeed. And especially with coming from, you know, this particular role was advocated for through the first Poet Laureate, who was Jillian Hainsworth, and she, you know, really advocated for this opportunity to be available within Buffalo. So, you know, coming from that and then two other women being, you know, named in their titles, I think it's an amazing circumstance.
Big shoes to fill. You up for it?
I am definitely up for it.
We want to see what you have for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, the show is yours.
Okay, well, you guys asked for me to share poetry, so I figured that I'll take a small time to write something specific to this circumstance. Community, come unite. Unite your fears and allow vulnerability to take this day off and dwell within this divine castle of collaborative thought. This center crowds us with literature, synchronized letters lifting loads off hearts, humbling heroes conquering fears, releasing those captive by the lies they were told, that we weren't destined to become who we've become. May this poetic passage remind you of what community created: hope, love, and unity. Thank you.
I would encourage women to not look up, but to look around, to find other women who can pour into them, to find other or pay attention to what's going on in our community so that they might get involved, so that they might use their time, their talents to help move our community forward. If you don't look up, you don't know the ceiling's there.
Trina got her career opportunities was because of her visibility externally. And the work that she was doing and the skills, again, that she was able to flex through her volunteer work, that sometimes we just don't have those opportunities to do at work. So I would encourage you all, as you're thinking about developing yourself, think about volunteering and engaging as a way to increase your network, to be able to flex these skills that you're unable to flex.
Find your passion and run with it. I think as the discussion here today was, find people that you enjoy being with, work together, support each other, and the collective power of the women of Western New York is incredible.
Dr. Brianne Wilson, podiatric surgery specialist. Yes, she's all about the feet.
Anything make it worse?
The Buffalo native is all about good care for the base of our bodies, the feet. From the tender age of 6, she wanted to be a doctor.
I loved doing like the anatomy, cutting stuff open. So I always wanted to do surgery, but I didn't want to deal with death. I didn't want to be on call a lot. And then when I had a family, I wanted to be able to have time with them. So I wanted to have a good work-life balance.
She's a wife and mom, but caring is in her DNA.
The feet are super important, and especially for people with diabetes. Those are the people who really need to make sure they are getting their feet checked at least on a yearly basis, because diabetes affects every aspect of our bodies. How old are your shoes?
Dr. Wilson is Buffalo's only Black female podiatrist. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel sad, if I'm being honest. I have a lot of patients that feel more comfortable with women, just because in general, we're a little bit more empathetic, a little bit more compassionate, especially when it comes to some cosmetic features of our feet.
Representation matters.
You know, even certain cultures are more comfortable with people in their same culture group. And I'm only one person, and unfortunately, I can't see everybody, which makes me sad, because I wish more people would come into the field and be there to help our community and taking care of their feet.
That's why she attends career fairs.
I am so grateful for this time where we are recognized more and more for the amazing accomplishments that we provide to our communities.
And to celebrate women who love heels, listen.
Love my shoes. I wear heels. But if you can't properly walk in a heel, you probably shouldn't wear a heel.
And she says, know your shoe size.
If your feet are not comfortable, it throws everything off.
Dr. Wilson is proud of her upbringing.
I grew up on the east side, Hamlin Park area. I've lived there since I was like 6 or 7. And then I went to Olmsted School System, and then I went to City Honors High School. Love Buffalo so much, I really do.
From there to RIT and podiatry school in Chicago.
Women are just so vital to our society. They provide, I think, a warmth, a level of understanding. They nurture, they take care of. They're goal-getters, they're go-getters.
And she's from a family of go-getters.
So my grandfather was a Harlem Globetrotter. And even more interesting is he only had one arm. Being a Harlem Globetrotter, he even went to Tennessee State University on a tennis scholarship.
Mom, an educator?
She was a teacher, at School 54. My father was a pharmacist.
And now you're a mom.
I am a mom. Yes, my daughter Zoe, she is 2.5. And I'm just grateful for the role models she has before her.
Like her mom, the podiatrist.
I try to be a good representation of the profession so that other little girls, no matter, their background, can look at me and say, if I can do it, because certainly if I can do it, anybody else can do it. So I do feel it's important to be a good representative for a female podiatrist, especially in the city, but especially for people of color.
Internationally acclaimed violinist Melissa White. She is a professor of music at UB and a founding member of the Harlem Quartet. She is also a 2-time Grammy winner.
We were nominated for our album. It's called Passion for Bach and Coltrane. And we went to the Grammys, and even though you're there, you don't expect to win. So you're just really surprised. On the album, it is the Harlem Quartet, the Amani Winds, a jazz trio, and then spoken word poet A.B. Spellman.
And she's sharing her talents at UB.
It's been wonderful. So I began in the fall of 2022, and it's been great getting to meet the students, working with my colleagues is wonderful, and getting to know Buffalo has been fun. I travel around the world performing, and it's really nice to be able to share with violinists that now I have a home, that I can invite them to come join me and to work with me, and also the other wonderful faculty at UV. I first started when I was 6 because I saw the violin on Sesame Street when I was 4. And I just loved, it was Isaac Perlman on the episode, and I loved how his chin fit perfectly in the chin rest. And so when the show went off, I asked for a violin, but my mom didn't immediately say yes, and I had to beg for 2 years.
And working with the BPO.
And working with the BPO has just been a dream. They're so kind, they sound so great.
Coming up on Community, women in sports.
And we'll hear from the new city historian, Lindsay Lauren Visser, about a neighborhood in East Buffalo named after the woman who stood up to the British during the War of 1812. Welcome back to commUNITY. And you know, it's March, so that means madness.
A lot of March Madness happening and a lot of people playing basketball, especially the women.
The Cardinal O'Hara girls basketball team is one big family.
It's everything. When we say family, it truly is a family.
We all know that we're playing for each other at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's great, like, to be a part of a family. You don't find that everywhere.
A close bond that translates to the court.
We're very tight-knit, like, on and off the court. We talk a lot. We just have fun. Like, those are my sisters.
The Lady Hawks have been winning as a family as well. O'Hara this year captured the Monsignor Martin League title with the win over Nichols in the title game. It marked the 10th league championship for O'Hara in the past 11 seasons, making the Lady Hawks a model of consistency over that stretch.
We don't want to go up and down. We don't want to be like other teams here to win one year and then don't win the next 5 years. We want to stay consistent, and I think that helps us put kids into college.
Which is something O'Hara has done at a high level, placing 25 players at D1 schools since 2012. That includes the dynamic duo of Aaliyah and Angel Parker at Niagara. It's a sign of the talent that comes to play for O'Neill's program.
Everybody's getting touches, everybody's scoring, everybody's contributing to the team, you know, like, so I just think it's great playing with a bunch of girls who are D1, D2, anything, like, honestly.
And as family and consistency guide the O'Hara program, the current players look to continue the legacy of success started by those that came before them.
I know there's a lot of really good girls that played here before me, so it's just great to be able to carry on that legacy for them. You know, we play hard for them too because, you know, this is their school, you know, they started this, so it's really great to be able to follow that path.
And on the college level, women are making noise on the hardwood. Damon University's women's basketball team rolled to the Elite Eight in the NCAA Division II. Niagara women's basketball can boast having an awesome team as they got to play in the women's NIT. The University at Buffalo's women's basketball team also got an invite to the NIT. All three schools are making noise in the postseason on the D1 and D2 levels. All of the teams are led by female coaches.
Just it being International Women's Month and having a bunch of strong women here and us being able to coach them every single day and empower them to go out in the world and do incredible things, not only what they do here between these lines, but what they're going to go out and do after they graduate here. You just celebrated 2 seniors in Renna and KJ who are going to be incredible young women in the workplace and in the community. And I'm really, really excited. So to celebrate young women, like I get to coach every single day. It's not, you know, Women's Month. It's just we get to do it every day.
Wine and cheese lovers of Western New York have a new place to meet and eat here in Larkinville. Kristen Cronin is known today for her cheese boards and popular local charcuterie classes, but this all actually started with breakfast.
I actually was arranging breakfast foods like charcuterie boards for my kids during the pandemic. Every Saturday we would do a different theme and I would post it on Instagram and people were just going nuts over it.
3 years later, and she's standing in her first brick and mortar location for Meet and Eat Charcuterie. It's at 799 Seneca Street, right in Larkinville.
There's innovation element to what we're doing. Like I would consider myself a food entrepreneur, kind of putting a different spin on the restaurant world and creating more experiential dining. So I want people to be able to come here often for different things. So maybe you try a class one time, maybe you come and do one of the made-to-order charcuterie boards, maybe you come to the wine bar, maybe you come shop at the local market. So that's sort of what I'm creating, which I think is different than the traditional restaurant.
The classroom space is called the Western New York Cheese Academy.
It's really designed to connect experts to enthusiasts around Western New York, wine experts, cheese, charcuterie board, cheese board making, and also industry training. So I would love to train the next generation of cheese professionals in this space and also use it for events and just bringing people together, letting them meet and eat.
Kristen's favorite part of her shop is the custom mural inspired by one of her real-life cheese boards.
I actually had a dream that I carved the Buffalo skyline out of cheese, and that's kind of what launched me into the space that I'm in today. My dear friend Christy Francis, she owns Avery in Harlow, she did the mural. So she took the skyline board that I actually did for the mayor of Buffalo and painted it on the wall. It's such a great representation of who we are Buffalonians and just the city of great neighbors. That's what it makes me feel when I look at it.
Cronin is still putting the finishing touches on the space and finalizing the menu before a grand opening next month.
April 1st through 19th, we're going to soft launch be open, so to stress test the system. And then the big grand opening is going to be on April 20th, which is actually my birthday and the city of Buffalo's birthday.
We have more details on the pop-up events happening here at Meet and Eat, all leading up to their grand opening on our website, WGRZ.com. The grand opening is set for April 20th.
We know the neighborhood, we also know the street, but where did the name come from? Well, that dates back to the earliest days of Buffalo and this plot of land where 465 Main Street stands today.
For me personally, it's especially near and dear to my heart because my grandmother lived in Lovejoy, and so I spent a lot of time there as a child, and I never even appreciated that the name had such significance to our earliest days of the city, going back to the burning of Buffalo and Sarah Lovejoy, who's actually the only woman killed during the burning of Buffalo.
New City historian Lindsay Lauren Visser says it's a story of bravery and defiance.
And Sarah Lovejoy was very protective of her house.
Sarah and Joshua Lovejoy came to the small frontier village of Buffalo in about 1807. They made their home in what is now downtown. Then when the War of 1812 broke out, they found themselves on the front lines. The Americans burned what is now Niagara-on-the-Lake, and in retaliation, the British and their Mohawk allies came to the future Queen City with a vengeance.
So it wasn't necessarily an unsolicited attack of the city of Buffalo and Black Rock. It was a retaliatory attack.
Most of the men, including Joshua Lovejoy, went to the neighboring village of Black Rock to stand their ground. But when the assault reached Buffalo, Sarah refused to leave her house.
When they came in and tried to raid it, she fought them back. And unfortunately, she was killed in the process. And it's so unfortunate because she really just had to go across the street to Margaret St. John's house, which was spared.
In fact, there's a plaque marking the spot where Margaret St. John's house stood. Before Sarah made her stand, though, she sent her 12-year-old son, Henry, into the woods to hide.
Henry was a drummer boy in the War of 1812, and then he was a surveyor. And the surveyors named streets after themselves or their family.
Marge Haustrider runs the Iron Island Museum, which pays tribute to the neighborhood's proud history, a history that started with Sarah and Henry Lovejoy, who personified the fighting spirit of those early settlers.
Our city is, I think, still imbued with that resilience and that determination that those pioneers and those early citizens had coming here and staying here during a war zone and coming back and rebuilding the city. And then turning around and saying, you know what, not only are we going to rebuild, we're going to prosper. And they did it.
Coming up next on Community, a little bit of Buffalo on Broadway.
One of my old classmates sitting and chatting it up with Pete Gallivan. Stay with us.
6 feet under, getting under your skin. Cabin fever.
And we're going to wrap up this segment of Community with a little spotlight on the arts.
Right. First up, Urban Bush Women.
Urban Bush Women is, we function in that way. It's a dance company, it's also a body of community organizers, and so we're not the singular thing.
We caught up with the dancers at a rehearsal.
There are 8 company members, and we function like a jazz ensemble in that every company member is an individual instrument. So it was Urban Bush Women's intention to share these stories that were untold and undertold, specifically looking at celebrating the African American diaspora, but also from a woman-centered perspective.
It's the authenticity for the Associate Artistic Director, Courtney Cook.
And it brings to light like those kinds of rituals that we grew up doing as Black girls, you know, playing hand games, you know, doing drill team, cheerleading, things like that. So you're gonna see that on, you know, the concert stage.
It's a performance that may move you.
It may bring up some you know, uncomfortable truths that we all have to sit with. It may bring up some memories.
And when you leave the performance, know this, Shannon Judson is a Buffalo native.
I am with Urban Bush Women and I am with University at Buffalo, and I go like this. So depending on what day of the week you catch me, I'm in Brooklyn or I'm in Buffalo. There's an element of storytelling and cultural information and underpinning that roots the work.
People would walk away with is like a new way to think about themselves in relationship to the world and their community.
6 feet under, getting under your skin.
Broadway. I mean, it's not Wednesday nights at Nietzsche's, but, you know, I guess it'll have to do it.
But it's all right, yeah.
Ani DeFranco was already a big name in the field of indie music, and now the Grammy winner has taken her talents to Broadway.
Yeah.
How does that all lead to here?
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, who can say? My journey to Broadway is probably one of the weirder ones.
One of the weirder ones because her focus was always on her music and acting was never even a consideration.
I never imagined myself here. I never had the Broadway dream, you know. I didn't go that traditional pursuit. Instead, I have this sort of very long, circuitous relationship with the show.
That relationship began in 2010 when Hadestown creator Anais Mitchell decided to turn her fledgling musical into a concept album instead. She asked Ani to not only produce it, but also to sing the part of Persephone, the same role she's playing on Broadway today.
You know, I sort of think of myself, and she has referred to me as sort of the fairy godmother of the show. You know, I just helped her get it from 0 to 1, and then she carried it for another 13 years. You know, and evolved it and brought in all these other brilliant collaborators, and it became what it is now.
And she became what she is after a tumultuous childhood in Buffalo that saw her leave home and live on her own at the age of 15 and graduate from the Buffalo Academy for Visual and Performing Arts at just 16. But on this day, in the middle of a big-time Big Apple press junket, I took Ani on a trip down memory lane through her high school yearbook.
Holy cow.
Who is that kid?
Who is that kid? She is struggling, that girl.
I mean, 2 years later, you're in New York and looking entirely different.
Yes. Yes, when I moved to New York, I shaved all my hair off. Look at all that hair.
Ani played the New York music scene for a while before returning to Buffalo to start Righteous Babe Records at the age of 19. The rest was musical history. I also surprised Ani with another blast from the past, a familiar face from those high school days.
Another.
Hi.
Do you remember Claudine?
Oh my gosh. Hello. This is
forever. How are you?
I'm great.
I know. I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there to do the interview with Pete.
Oh man. Well, here you are. It's yeah.
I was so looking forward to it. Did he show you the yearbook?
Yes, I just looked at it. That's insane. Oh my gosh. I want to leaf through the whole thing now and just do the time warp. Oh, thanks.
And although performing arts was 35 years and many lifetimes ago for Ani, who now calls New Orleans home, she says Buffalo will always be where her roots lie.
What part of Buffalo is still in you, and what do you bring to your work, your passion, your performance?
Buffalo is where I invented myself. Buffalo is my core, and I don't know that I could even describe or understand. I mean, there's, I think, a resourcefulness and a you know, a hardiness, a scrappiness. You know, I mean, I think Buffalo, you make yourself there.
Yeah. And now she's remaking herself once again on the stage in Hadestown.
Good night.
Boy, it was great catching up with Ani and getting nostalgic, even though I never went to performing arts with her, but you did.
And she was always creative, and we are oh so proud of you.
All right, thank you for joining us for another month here on commUNITY.
And we are proud to be inside of Just Buffalo Literary Center. We'll see you next month on commUNITY.